You ready?
Yeah.
Aloha and welcome to this very special GoPro Tips live stream presented by the training team here from our beautiful office in Carlsbad in SoCal. We're coming live to you from our beautiful HERO9 Blacks with the media mods, and we're really excited to be able to be here live with you guys. We have a super special show. And before we jump into our agenda and really diving deep into everything you guys are going to need to know to crush it with this year's $1 Million Challenge, we want to kick today off with a very special tribute, because if you guys didn't know, today is a really special day in GoPro's history. Today marks the 5-year anniversary of our GoPro Awards program. So first of all, if you haven't heard about this program, shame on you, because it's our always on program that we created for our community to help reward all of our camera users out there for sharing their content and submitting their best content to GoPro to be considered, for inclusion in our social media posts, our different campaigns, and of course, the $1 Million Challenge. It's really the platform that gives us the ability to do that. So today, as we look at, what this means and what, has happened through GoPro Awards over the last 5 years, first of all, we've received almost 1 million submissions, 950,000 submissions from over 180 countries. And what was neat is last year for $1 Million Challenge alone, we had 42,000 submissions. And it's really become both a core component of our community and our GoPro's media and marketing strategy. So, I think it's one thing that's really interesting. We get asked all the time, like, what does it mean to be a part of the GoPro family? Or, how do I get to be a part of the GoPro family? Or what is that all about? So first and foremost, I think the best way to put it, in something that, no one better than our founder and CEO, Nick Woodman, if you guys checked out the press release that our wonderful PR team put together for today, Nick had an incredible quote to kind of tee that up. And what he said is, we created GoPro Awards to bring our customers into the GoPro family. The program celebrates and rewards content that excites, engages, and amazes us, and shows us unique perspectives and moments. Our customers are the most creative and interesting people in the world, and the GoPro Awards program has given each of them an avenue to share their photos and their videos on a global scale, as well as be rewarded and recognized for it. And I think that is just the perfect definition of why we've created this and what we've done. But really, that's the answer: is what is it to be a part of the GoPro community? How do I be a part of it? Really, it's just you being active, engaged, going out there and using whatever GoPro you have, whether that be your Hero 4 all the way to your Hero 9, and just creating content, sharing that with your friends, sharing that with your family. And the moment that you submit something to GoPro Awards, you're part of our GoPro family, and therefore, really helping drive this really cool ecosystem that we've created. And so over the years, I've been super fortunate to be able to travel the world with GoPro, and we know this year is very different. And so we wanted to be able to bring you guys an experience to be engaged wherever you are. But we also wanted to, connect with some of those people that we normally get to see all the time. And we're very lucky that we've been able to connect with some of the most talented creators. And a few of those people we've not only been able to connect with, but we've had the opportunity to work with on certain speaking engagements, projects, and even training events. And one of those creators is here today with us to help kick off the show, to really give you his journey through, his whole GoPro experience. Is our close friend, a brother, a homie, all the way from Brazil. I want to introduce you. First of all, we're going to play his last year's clip, introduce you to Andrew Santana. Yo, beleza, Andrews.
E aí,
Tudo
Colin,
bem?
how are you?
Wonderful, man.
Yeah,
Uh,
thank you for inviting me to this show. I'm so happy to be here.
it's such an honor to have you here. You know, we of course would have loved to see you at a summit or obviously at an activation, but we're really happy for you to be able to join us live here as well as with our entire community to kind of share your story. I think your story truly represents, the ethos of the GoPro Awards program and what it means to be a part of the GoPro family. And, for all of those out there, I'd love, because people see you as the guy that you are the GoPro guru. You are that guy that's really, in Brazil and around the world, people are looking at you and they want to know how you got there and what you did. And so I'd love for you to kind of share your journey and your story over the last 5 years and how GoPro has really evolved in your life and really where you are today. So for all that are out there, let's turn the time over to Andrews to, give us this cool, awesome experience today.
All right, so let me share with you guys a little about my GoPro journey. So I bought my first GoPro in 2014. It was the Hero 4 Silver, and I knew nothing about it, and I just used it a lot until to learn. Whenever I went out, even I went to the office, I took my GoPro with me. So GoPro was like part of my body, and it still is. In 2015, GoPro Awards was launched, and I remember sending tons of content to GoPro VR. And here's a photo with my friend uh, that I won my first awards. I don't like this photo anymore, but in 2016, GoPro VR noticed me and invited me to be part of the GoPro family. And there is a funny thing about it, Cohen, because in the same week I was fired from my job, and this began my new career as content creator. Today I'm GoPro power user, so I use my GoPro to do everything. And I thought GoPro tips and tricks on my Instagram, and I still doing it because all of my content is made by GoPro. So after the GoPro team started seeing my award submission, I started to form a closer relationship with them. And since the meeting, I've been invited to be a member of the GoPro family and to the GoPro Creator Summit 2019 in Broome, Australia. I've been awarded about 10 times, $1 million challenge in 2009. Woo! And now I'm working very closely with GoPro Brazil on several projects such as Strike Force and now GoPro Education. And everything is a goal achieved for me. I mean, dreams come true, and this is something I love to do. I'm so excited to use more my GoPro and help everybody who needs to learn about GoPro. So guys, count with me.
Well, hey, Andrews, thank you so much for sharing your story. I think it's really inspiring for all of those out there that, just like myself, we might not come from a photography or videography background. We might not went to film school, but GoPro is truly trying to create an ecosystem that makes it super easy, user-friendly to create professional level content. So just like yourself, maybe you just pick this up to be your travel camera, and next thing you know, because it's so versatile, it really becomes something that, as you said, it's a part of your body. You're taking it and using it in so many different ways. And I think this is really special, and we're really excited to have you back on the show a little bit later to kind of talk about some of your favorite HERO9 features. But from here, guys, let's jump into the show and let's talk about the 2020 GoPro $1 Million Challenge. So first and foremost, I want to kind of give you guys the lay of the land and give you the agenda. And so for all of those that are joining us live, remember, we want to make this super active and engaging. So we have a live Q&A at the end of the show. So make sure you're throwing your comments and questions down, or I guess on the side here, down on the side, or on, to make sure you get your question answered. We have a live team of moderators. So I want to, thank our homies over from the customer support team, both Jeff and, Gary, as well as Bernardo, and of course, Joe, for helping us moderate. And then to our homie all the way out in Singapore, I guess in Thailand from Singapore. We got Ron Ing that will be given, the tips and tricks through the moderator box, as well as teeing up some questions. And I would really suggest that you guys ask questions and comments, because not only is it a great way to get your tips and tricks answered or whatever thing you guys have been curious about, but as always, we've got a brand new HERO9 Black for 2 of the best questions. So the moderators will actually pick 2 of their favorite questions at the end of the show, and you guys will be picking up a brand new HERO9 Black that you guys can utilize for the $1 Million Challenge, and of course to capture everything that you've got going on. So from here, I want to kind of tee up what we'll talk about. So first of all, we're going to walk through like what the $1 Million Challenge is all about, the details to make sure that you guys are ready to roll and set up with all the necessary things to get the shot. Next, we have some really special guests. You've already seen Matt Andrews, but we have 2 additional winners from last year's $1 Million Challenge to help us walk through their favorite features, because there's no better way to talk about the GoPro community and the GoPro family than include everybody here. So we've got both Anthony as well as Tyler to give you guys some deep dive features and benefits about the HERO9 Black. From there, we're going to turn it over to the legends at GoPro, both Abe and Ryan from our studio team, to walk through what it takes and video best practices. This is the crew that is going to be building that edit. They're going to be going through that content, and they're here to give you guys that inside scoop and what they're really looking for, as well as you can ask them any questions you may have. And last but not least, as we wrap it up, we'll go into that Q&A. So a perfect way for you guys to ask any questions. And I appreciate you guys all joining us live. Some of you guys out there, huge shout out. I see a great crew already online. So Johnny, thanks for staying up late, hanging out in Taiwan. I hope everything's great. I want to thank you so much. Eric and I got those stickers, and I can't wait to slap one on my GoPro. Also, the Dragon out there in good old, you're in France, right? Isn't that where Switzerland is, right? Aren't you a French guy, Martin? Well, Martin, thank you for joining. And Rudy, thank you for also, spending a little time, hope all is well out there in France. One of our guests, Anthony, is just right down the road from you. Looks like we also have a couple other people, some of my favorite Brasileiros, Nina and Tata. So thank you guys for joining. I really appreciate you guys, spending time with us this afternoon. So let's jump into the details on $1 Million Challenge. If you guys haven't heard about the details or about the contest, the $1 Million Challenge is an awards challenge that will get your HERO9 video clips featured in the upcoming $1 Million Challenge highlight video, where you'll earn your share of that $1 million. So the contest has already started, and it will run, and the submissions are due by December 4th at 11:59 p.m. Pacific Standard Time this year. It's a global contest that's global challenge that's open to all GoPro enthusiasts, as long as you're capturing video with that HERO9 Black. And then at the end, just like last year, stay tuned to our social channels, where you'll be able to be a part and watch our premiere when we premiere this later this year. So if you guys didn't, hear about last year's, what it really, broke down to is last year we had 56 clips that were chosen. This came from 45 different creators representing 17 different countries. So each one of these individuals walked away with a cut and an equal share of $22,222. So the 3 people that you're going to see on here just walked away with some massive cash last year for their submission. And just like you saw Andrew's clip, that clip of him skateboarding, probably having a great day, having an epic time skating that bowl, he walked away with over 22K. And so we're really excited to see the 42,000 of you guys that submitted last year really amp that up. And we're excited about what you guys are going to create this year. But if you didn't get a chance to check out last year's video, let's check it out in its glory and beauty. And thank you for the studio team for putting the countless hours and putting this together. And thank you all for the amazing content. Let's watch the last year's $1 Million Challenge.
Is it recording?
Yes!
Are you ready?
No!
Let's go! Come on, you can do it! was insane.
Well, there you have it. And if you didn't get goosebumps from it the first time, I mean, it's something I continue to get those goosebumps or goose pimples, whatever, chicken skin, whatever you guys call it. It's something that just is just truly special because it represents, our community and all the amazing people doing all the incredible things around the world. And we're, obviously this year has been a very different year for us, but being able to watch that kind of content just warms my heart and just gets me really excited to see, how special we are as humans and all the incredible things that we do. So I just want to thank everybody for all that work that we put into that, because it just turned out glorious. And today we're going to now jump into this year's $1 Million Challenge. It's focused on our HERO9 Black. So we wanted to make sure we gave you guys a few details on everything related to the HERO9 Black. So first of all, as you see, it's all about more everything this year. We listened to everything that you guys wanted in our cameras and our ecosystem. And so we jam-packed more everything into the HERO9 Black. So whether that be our sensor, the new front-facing LCD, and even just, taking care of those core components like increasing your battery life, the GoPro HERO9 Black is going to deliver the best version of our camera that we have ever had the opportunity of creating. So when we talk about more core, when we talk about the things that are built into every single GoPro, we know that we have to have those things like rugged and waterproof, as well as, the ability to have that bringing back the removable lens cover. But one thing that we're really excited to not have more of is plastic. So one thing you guys are going to notice, and when I held up the packaging, and if you've seen it or from anyone that's been posting some of their unboxing videos, is it's a really important factor for GoPro. We know that we're out there helping capture some of the most incredible moments in nature, and being out there and being, whether it be in the snow, be in the ocean, it's very important for us to help protect our environment and be a more sustainable company. And so GoPro has launched this beautiful package. So not only do we reduce the amount of plastic that's in our packaging, it also doubles as a epic carrying case that can hold your handler, your three-way, or any of your great equipment that you may need. So if you guys are looking to pick up a HERO9 Black and are looking for a killer deal, let's check out this awesome deal that we've got on GoPro.com right now. So obviously the camera, it retails at $449, but if you head over to GoPro.com right now for $349, we will not only give you the camera, but you're also going to get the GoPro subscription included. So this is going to, give you that insurance and help cover for full camera replacements if you have an issue with your camera. It also is going to give you full uploads in high res of the actual original content in the cloud of all your photos and videos, including your 360 clips if you're using Max or you're using Fusion. We also will give you guys, if you're looking to pick up some of that awesome new lifestyle gear, one of our new bags, our water bottles, or backpacks, or just some accessories to add to your kit, you'll get up to 50% off a lot of our different accessories, mounts, and other lifestyle gear on GoPro.com. And last but not least, if you're looking to go live, you will also have a really cool way to go live through GoPro subscription, where you can then pull that feed down, send a link out. You don't have to worry about Facebook or YouTube. So just a great way to have a premium live experience. So if you guys are interested, you want to pick up the bundle, just scan this QR code or click the link. It's also in the description, and this will take you right to the GoPro landing page, and you can pick up the brand new HERO9 Black. And if you're looking for a little bit more and you're looking for a sweet bundle, we do have, for just $50 more, you'll get a handler, an extra battery, a magnet swivel clip, and an SD card. So purely just for the price of the SD card, all of this other gear is pretty much coming for free with what you're getting with the subscription and the bundle. So honestly, like, this deal is better than, you know, anything I've seen in a really long time, and it's right out of the gate for all of you guys to take advantage. So remember, scan this QR code or head the link, and if you got any questions about that, we'll be back a little bit later in the show. So what are we going to be talking about today with the HERO9 Black? There's so many things we could talk about that separate this camera, these key features that really represent, you know, some of the most technological advancements of our cameras in the past year. So everything in pink are the things that are brand new and different. What you're going to see here on this slide are the things that we're going to be covering today. And the first thing we're going to jump off into is we're going to bring back Andrews to talk about his favorite feature, which is the brand new, bigger and more powerful sensor. And so I'm going to turn the time over to Andrews to talk about the brand new 23.6 megapixel sensor that is just revolutionary when it comes to quality. So Andrews, what's happening with this beautiful new, more powerful sensor? Why is it your favorite feature?
Yeah, my favorite feature is the new sensor because it allows us to make videos in 5K. As we can see in this video that I did with one wheel. So we have more sharpness, more color, and it's amazing. It's amazing, really amazing. Another thing is cool is be able to screen grab awesome 14.7 megapixel photos. So it's like an infinity burst, as you can see right now. I grabbed a photo of this video. So grabbing photos is really nice because sometimes we have just one chance to do something. And using 5K video, we have some awesome videos and awesome photos too. And if you let me give you guys a pro tip, I received some questions about this motion blur that I did in my photo was grabbed. Yeah, this one. So it's made by using Polar Pro filters, and in this case, I was using the NG32. So everyone needs to try this. It's amazing.
Absolutely. I think, you know, having, you know, the 5K is just going to create, again, another level of versatility, you know, whether you need that super high quality, you know, that's what I love about GoPro is that we also have, you know, beautiful high res at 1080p. So no matter you're doing stuff for social or you're really looking to do a more professional shoot or have, you know, higher needs, it's great to have all these different resolution and frame rate combinations. And I think you put a great call out that not only can you record in 5K, but I know one of your favorite modes in the past was like the video and photo mode. Now you have, like you said, infinite burst mode to take cool, incredible screen grabs. And for those that are interested in what that, you know, equates to, if you check out this slide here, we actually have a cool chart. Screen grab this if you like, but it just breaks down in the video resolution of your GoPro Hero 9, the photo resolution that you can grab from that, as well as the aspect ratio. So just another great tip, as well as not only just from the video side, but what the new sensor is going to drive just in overall picture quality and just capabilities. High action GoPro is an awesome camera for, and what's really neat is now you can capture, you know, photos without having to, you know, take half-second time lapse or do burst modes. It's just endless. So as we jump into the rest of our show and talk about some of the next features, we want to, you know, bring in the next guest all the way from the south of France. Anthony Viglione will be here today to talk about his favorite feature, the new front-facing LCD. So before we bring him on, let's check out his award-winning shot from last year. Anthony, well, good evening. How's it going, man?
All good. Stoked to be live with you guys and happy you guys like where I love to hang out and run.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like your backyard is a incredible place, and man, those ridge lines just get my heart pumping. It's pretty incredible what you get to just do on for a fun hobby.
This place is like 10 minutes behind my house, and that's a pretty sick one. So,
Well, I mean, obviously, we all thought it was a sick one too, because obviously that's why it got chosen. And we're really excited to have you on today. I know that when we were talking about, what features were your guys' favorites and what you guys wanted to talk about, you were instantly jumping on the new front-facing LCD. So I would love, for you to take a little bit of time and talk about, the front-facing LCD and the benefits for you and why you feel that this is your favorite feature, because there's so many things that the HERO9 has, and why is the new screen something that you're really stoked on?
so for me, my favorite feature is a front screen because it allows you, as you can see in the next clip, it allows you to make stuff and still know that you're still in the frame, not having not running or just wondering if you're still in the frame. In this clip, in the next clip, by example here, I wanna jump from this rock to this rock and then walk on the side of this ridge. And while I'm speaking to you guys, I can see the frame, so I know that the shot is gonna be what I want. So that's pretty perfect. Let's go. Look how nice is France. Such a beautiful place. I'm in Cassis right now. But because of my English, I did it more than 10 times. So speaking to the camera and knowing what you're filming save you times and try. Last thing you wanna do is make 100 times this kind of ridge, or when you're riding your mountain bike, you don't wanna take risk too much. In the next clip, I'm gonna show you. You can see I love walking or running on skinny ridge, and having a quick look while you are running helps you to focus on the action and not on the camera. That's something really important, guys. Sometimes, and in a lot of sport, people focus too much on the camera and they make mistakes. So just this front screen, as you can see just before or right now, like just after this one, I just have a quick look and I know I'm in the frame, it's all good, the shot is gonna be what I want. So that's helped you to stay alive sometimes. And the other part, guys, and for me it's crazy, it's in terms of photo. It always happened to me to ask friends to take another photo because I was not really happy with the angle or with my position, but not anymore. With the front screen, I can see the photo while my friend is taking it. So that's pretty crazy. And that's why I love front screen on the GoPro HERO9 Cohen. That's why I love this feature.
Well, I mean, I think you framed up, one of the major benefits, and I think for your use case more than most people's, like you said, saving time as well as just being, like when you're out in those really intense scenarios, last thing you want to be doing is looking constantly up, down, checking to make sure, or in your case, like you said, sometimes with the old cameras, you'd have to go do the thing 5, 6, 7, 8 times because you chopped your head off or you chopped your feet off. And now that you can just kind of glance and make sure that you're constantly in the frame is a great way to benefit from using that front-facing LCD, whether it's for video or photo. But I think you also had another benefit you wanted to talk about, and it wasn't just you framing it up. It's also something you felt was really big for some of your other use cases, right?
Yeah. But sorry, wait. No, I didn't get this one. Can you?
Oh, you were gonna? Yeah, I thought you were gonna talk a little bit more about the front-facing LCD with the follow cam.
Yeah, the front-facing LCD with the follow cam. So sometimes I have my, how to say it? It's like the unicorn. In mountain bike, you have some shots. The GoPro is in front of you, and while you're riding, you're just adding a quick look on the GoPro, and then you know that you are in the frame, and you don't cut any feet or the head. You're not cutting anything, so that's pretty crazy.
Absolutely. And then also, do you want to tee up? We're going to now kind of head back over and you know, walk through another great feature. And so, Anthony, we'll actually have you back on in a few minutes to talk about your another great feature that comes with the brand new HERO9 Black, and that is horizon leveling plus linear that's built in camera. So, Anthony, thank you for talking about the front-facing LCD, and we'll have you back in a minute to talk about you know, your other favorite feature with Hypersmooth 3.0. But guys, as you know, we wanted to make sure not it was only more everything when it came to resolutions, frame rates. We also just want to make sure that your camera can last when you're out using it. And obviously battery life is a big thing for all of us. And so what we've got teed up for you guys is an awesome video that's going to highlight that this new camera has 30% more battery life compared to our predecessor cameras. And so it's a 1720 milliamp battery. And I think this is a great piece of content that our studio team put together to show you in real time how much more is really 30%. So let's roll that clip. So as you guys can see, you know, it's really cool in that side-by-side comparison that we're getting almost 30 more minutes. And you guys all know that 30 minutes could be the most important time of your day, most important time of your shoot. We always do suggest taking an extra battery, but just knowing that not only in normal use cases, we're seeing 30% better battery life, for all of those that like Abe, myself, that love spending time in the snow, we're seeing even better performance in those cold weather conditions. So for all of you, you know, shredders out there or just winter, you know, capturers, just know that the HERO9 Black is going to perform better than you've ever seen when it comes to the battery life. So we're really all stoked on that. But speaking of something we're all stoked on is Hypersmooth 3.0. If you look at Hypersmooth 3.0's two main upgrades, it's really going to be now that you're going to get boost in every single resolution and frame rate. So that beautiful Hypersmooth stabilization now with any resolution or frame rate that you choose, which is, you know, awesome to be able to not have to, you know, pick and choose when you're doing resolution frame rate. But the other thing that is now in camera, you know, with the Hero 8, we introduced horizon leveling, but you had to use it in app. Now it is in camera, and we also add it to our linear field of view as a new lens. And we're going to bring back Anthony because his use case, running ridge lines, you know, doing follow cam is something where having stabilization is really key. But I think he's going to give you guys a couple tips and tricks on why, you know, this is also great for, you know, some of his, you know, unique use cases. So Anthony, let's give, you know, send it back to you to talk a little bit about horizon leveling plus linear.
Yeah, that's one feature that I really appreciate on this camera, because we used to have like shaky footage, or while you are running, having your arm moving too much. And in the clips you guys gonna see next, I am running and nothing is moving, so that's just insane. Everything is stable. By example, in this one, it's a friend filming me, and it's pretty easy to have a sick clip first or second go. Like back in the days, to have a crazy clip or the clip you had in mind with your friend, it takes so many times because maybe your friend was not easy with having a camera in his hand, or just he didn't know how to film. And now everything is so stable, so that's pretty insane. look how this place is sketchy and how stable are the cliff. That's yeah, that's another ridge line I have close to my place. So back in the days, to have follow cam, you guys have to know that we needed to have a friend following that was almost better than us, because you need more skill to run somewhere or follow on the bike while you are filming than just doing what you are doing. And that's something that Hypersmooth 3 plus horizon leveling is, yeah, that's just something crazy, Cohen. Like, it helps us on anything. It's no bad shot anymore. Like, any clips we can get, it's like cinema quality. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you said it best, right? Shaky footage is truly dad with, you know, Hypersmooth 3.0. And I think, again, that just goes back to like wanting to make it easy, as well as just, you know, being able to still deliver that cinema quality. And like you said, now, you know, you don't have to be the best skier on the mountain to do the follow cam, or the best mountain biker, the best ridge runner. You literally, you know, while you're on a hike, you could find that random person and hand them their camera and know that with the camera and the settings that we have built in and the features, that they would be able to help capture a shot for you. So whether you're giving it to your kid, whether you're putting on the back of your dog, or you randomly find a friend, Anthony, I think you laid out some great ways why, you know, Hypersmooth 3.0 is just truly game changer.
That's it. This clip was on the ridge. I just showed up there. That was really windy, and I was with my friend and just gave him the pole and the GoPro, saying like, dude, you don't move, or you just do 2 or 3 feet and then you follow with the cam. And the shot took us 2 times. It's insane. Back in the days, it was like maybe like 10 times explaining him how to use it and where to walk to make everything safe.
Well, Anthony, I agree. I think the big thing is just saving you time. So, you know, from here, you know, if you guys have questions for Anthony, whether you want to just know where those ridge lines are so you can go check them out, or you're looking for some of the settings or his tips and tricks for follow cam, we'll have Anthony back on for the Q&A at the end of the show. So remember, make sure you're throwing your questions in to the comment box, and we'll make sure that we bring Anthony back for the Q&A. So Anthony, we'll see you in a little bit. Thanks for your time today. Woo woo. So on to our next guest. He actually just is down the road from us. We would have loved to have him here in the studio, but obviously with social distancing, we're going to have him dialing in from his home. And so from here in beautiful SoCal in the San Diego area, we have Tyler Jordan to give us his favorite tips and tricks, as well as his favorite feature, TimeWarp. And so as we bring Tyler in, we have to roll his, you know, last year's $1 Million Challenge shot, because it was a pretty sweet one. And I love that today you're going to see the behind the scenes of how he actually captured the shot. So let's tee up Tyler's video. Welcome, Tyler. How's it going? How's San Diego?
Good. How are you, Cohen? How is everyone doing out there?
We're great. We hope all of you guys that are joining are enjoying the show so far. And thank you so much for taking time to join us today and sharing your, you know, $1 Million Challenge moments, as well as some of your favorite HERO9 features and benefits.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
So we're really excited for you to kind of talk about TimeWarp 3.0, and obviously you're the king of going out and getting some of those unique perspectives. So I know later you'll kind of talk about perspectives, but let's kind of start off the conversation now with TimeWarp, and why is this a feature that you find just so epic that it was the one thing that when we asked you what you wanted to talk about, that you were like, I got to talk about TimeWarp. So what's up with TimeWarp 3.0, and why is it something that is one of your favorite capture modes in the GoPro HERO9 Black?
Well, one of the things I love about TimeWarp is working with the parallax of having something large approach you, but then also I love putting my camera on an extension pole and going through tight spaces, like underneath the arm of a lawn chair or through a handrail or something like that. And a lot like those last shots with that epic skater, Jeremy Green, where we're working on having unique angles and being able to see things from really awesome perspectives. I love being able to make a hyperlapse and have the camera go through something that makes someone go, how the heck did you get that shot? So that's something that always really excites me about the hyper smooth and working with TimeWarp.
Well, Tyler, I think it's something that we're really excited to have this feature built into the camera, because I know you and I were talking about this, that to do some of those shots that you're discussing in the past with an SLR or just any type of traditional camera, not only would you're going to continue to look like a goofball, because we know we all are going to look like goofballs when we're doing it, but just the technical skill, the time, again, like and Abe that'll be on later can give you guys his background on creating some of these hyperlapses manual, just like how much technical skill and time to create a 10-second clip was just remarkable, that we've been able to slim that down and do it all on the camera. And so, Tyler, I think you've got some great video clips to kind of, tee up and talk about, TimeWarp. So maybe we can have you tee up those clips.
So right here, it's going through downtown LA with the Max. But what I like is being able to just show all of these large structures in new and unique ways. One of the things too is going through all these big arches. This is that parallax that I was talking about earlier, and out in Asia. And one cool thing that I also wanted to bring up that's awesome about working on GoPro stuff is working with other people. Like here we got the GoPro legend Johnny Lowe and I working in Taipei, and we got this amazing shot over this intersection right here. So working together is a really awesome part about doing stuff for the $1 Million Challenge.
Well, thank you, Tyler. And man, Johnny, I hope, everything's going well out there. I know that we're excited to be able to include you a little bit in the show, that content. Thank you for letting us help share that today. And those, time warps are beautiful, Tyler. So we're excited to see what you have in store for this year's challenge. And, we'll actually have you back on the show a little bit later to share some of your best practices around, unique perspectives and really helping create that illicit wow moment. So thank you so much for joining us right now, and we'll see you back in a few to talk more about, how to create that wow.
Thank you.
So, we're going to kind of, head into the tail end of our HERO9 Black conversation, and know that, as we look at more everything, GoPro also wants to build those core set of power tools to just really continue to up the ante and give you guys better ways to never miss the moment. So as you'll see on this slide here, we've got hindsight, live burst, schedule capture, and duration capture that make up this, killer, chest of power tools. And so to kind of walk you through what these all are about, if you haven't heard about them, we've got this awesome video that will show you the features and benefits of the brand new power tools.
Whoa!
So as you can see, those power tools are really just built to help really capture the moment and never miss that. And the first one that we will run through quickly is hindsight. So as you guys will see on this slide here, hindsight is really designed to give you the ability, similar to live burst, when we had live burst incorporated to help you capture the photo. We've now taken that same technology and built it into video capture mode. So you'll be able to, capture the previous 15 or 30 seconds, like you saw Tyler do in that trick shot shot that he put in there. So after you have the action happen, you can click the shutter button and it will automatically record it. So this is a great way when you guys are out there doing, activities like surfing. Maybe you've got your kid playing soccer or baseball or something, and you just want to be able to not miss it. Now you don't have to end up with 60, 70 clips of the same thing. Or maybe you're in the skate park with Tyler. You don't have to, film the same thing over and over and over again and then go dig through your content to get that. As I mentioned, live burst is a great photo feature to create boomerangs, as well as just find that perfect moment within 3 seconds, because it's going to give you 90 full frame at 4K to pull those 12 megapixel photos. And the last two, by far one of my favorites, because I'm a big fan of setting up cameras for night lapses, for sunrise, sunset, time lapses, but I am not the guy that wants to wake up at 5 in the morning before the sun comes up. And so to be able to set my camera up to 24 hours in advance, to have it turn on and capture in whatever mode or capture settings I have, is awesome. I can set it up during the daylight, leave the camera there overnight, and go to bed and know when I wake up, I'll have a great clip. One pro tip: make sure that if you are using scheduled capture and when your time lapse or time warp is going to finish, make sure you set the camera to do to the auto off at a certain duration, because sometimes it will stay on, and unless you have the camera turn off afterwards, just like with duration capture, it won't turn off. So from here, guys, we're going to roll into how you can really turn your GoPro into a production powerhouse. And then we're going to then jump into a few more great tips and tricks as we dive into the $1 Million Challenge. So let's tee up that the mods video. Well, I just got word there's no mods video. I'm not sure what happened. So it looks like, this is the best part of being live. We're just going to roll right through it and jump into some of the slides. So I'm not sure what's going on, but all I know is that the mods, as we'll see on these slides here, just like we're using today, our HERO9 Black are plugged into our brand new media mod. So not are we able to get better audio and video, we can also use the light mod to help make sure our faces are lit correctly. And in my mind, guys, if you haven't checked out Zeus Mini with the magnet swivel clip and the light mod, not only is this the world's most amazing light for a GoPro use case, it is the world's most versatile and waterproof and rugged light. For a flashlight, throw it on a shorty, you've got the most legendary flashlight on a tripod. You can throw it on a head strap, and now you've got a 200 lumen USB-C fast charging headlamp. No more worrying about batteries, as well as it's waterproof, so that it can get splashed and whatever you're doing in those scenarios. So I'm really excited about having the light mod just be a part of my normal day-to-day kit. And as we roll out the last two mods, we've got the display mod to give you an even bigger front-facing screen if you're looking to really make sure that you can frame up your shot correctly. Great for vlogging, as well as those studio needs like we're using today. But by far, my favorite is the Max Lens mod. And if you guys haven't checked out this Max Lens mod, let's roll the video so you can see what that's all about. Okay, no Max Lens mod video. So, man, I apologize, guys. If you guys haven't seen this Max Lens mod video, you guys are gonna have to head over to YouTube and check out either Abe or Ron's recent videos. They have some awesome, footage on how it works, the stabilization, comparisons, and look soon, because this is going to be launching relatively soon. Check GoPro.com if you want to pick up yours, because they're going to go quick for sure. But now, and again, apologies, given this is live, sometimes we have issues with the content. We are doing something more advanced than we've ever done today. So thanks for sticking with us. Again, if you have questions, make sure you throw them in the question and comment box. But I'm going to turn the time back over, because it's not just about what you can do with the camera and all the great new features and benefits to help make capturing easy. GoPro truly is a curiosity box of content, and a lot of it comes down to your imagination is really the only limitation. We might make the most amazing enabling device. We might create the most insane mounts and accessories to help you capture moments that are, truly going to get those unique perspectives, and have software to help it make it easy to create and share. But it comes down a lot of times to your imagination, and someone that is truly a legend at that is Tyler Jordan. So we're going to bring him back on to share some of his perspectives on dialing in those unique perspectives.
Hi again.
Hi.
How's everybody doing? So one of my favorite things about working with GoPro cameras is how small they are. You can put them in really tight spaces between the feet of somebody roller skating, whether it's going through a bike frame as the bike's moving. And one of the things that everyone who knows me and has ever shot with me knows that I love to make sound effects when I'm flying my camera, even if it's with my hand. I feel like I'm a little kid playing with my spaceships or my airplane. So I love being able to, like in this shot right here, go through the volleyball net, or have the ball attached, have the camera attached to the ball, go through the legs. Like these shots are so easy to get with a GoPro and so difficult to get with any other camera. So this is, to me, why I love shooting GoPro cameras. Dramatic POVs. I love them.
Yeah, I mean, and obviously slow-mo just makes it even better. So I think that's really what I challenge you guys is this camera is jam-packed with so many different combinations of resolutions, frame rates, capture settings, that again, it's your guys' creativity to go out there and just use them in unique and different ways. Because, I think, Tyler, one of our fellow GoPro family members, Kyle Bear Kiwi, and I think he said it best, is that, your ordinary is someone else's extraordinary. And so while what you might think is just a lame walk out with your dog along, the beach, for some people that never get to put their feet in the sand or even see the ocean, what something is an everyday, just normal, boring thing for us could be extraordinary for someone else. So really, we just want to enable you guys to help capture and share those moments. And thank you, Tyler, for sharing a little bit more about, just perspectives and helping do, that illicit wow. So I think this is a great time for us to start to segue into what you guys are going to need for what it takes to really win, get your opportunity to get a cut of that $1 million for the $1 Million Challenge. And we are so lucky to have two of the most legendary GoPro Studio members. You know them really well, and there's some, two people that are actually going to be a part of picking this year's $1 Million Challenge content. So you want to make sure you're tuned in and dialed in right now, because we're going to pass it over to both Abe and Ryan Contra, to walk through what it takes to dial in your video best practices. So thank you, Abe. Thank you, Ryan. I know I'd love to have you in the studio with us, but you're just down the street, just around the corner. We're all here. Thanks for joining us.
Yes. We are super stoked to be here. Thank you for joining the show. We've got my buddy Ryan over here as well. Yeah, so I'm Abe. I've been with GoPro now for 10 years, which is crazy to think about. And Ryan and I have been on the studio team for a long time. We are part of the crew that's going to be looking through all of this content. We have this amazing back-end platform and some awesome people culling through all the content, but we really do see everything. And so we really want this to be a discussion. Definitely, if you have questions, throw them in the QA. But we want to give you pretty much, when we're going through content, there's a lot of things we think about, and it's like, if we could just tell these people, like, here's a couple tips to make your footage that much better, this is our chance to do it. So thank you for tuning in, and we will give you some tips and tricks.
Absolutely. I think well said, Abe. I mean, it's just him and I and a big group of people kind of going through all of your guys' clips. And like Abe said, it's not a machine, it's us. So we're just trying to connect with you guys right now and kind of let you guys know what we're looking for as we're making this amazing video. So there's a couple things that we want to touch on today. The content that we're specifically looking for, how to submit, and just the best ways to do it. Things you should note while you're capturing, and a couple little insider tips for you guys. Things that we do when we're out in the field. I know you guys saw that lovely picture of Abe and I. It's not all glamorous out there, but there's a lot of things to pay attention to when you're out there. And we just want to kind of give you guys the tools to make sure that when you're out there, you're getting the best stuff that you can, because this camera is so fun to use. There's a lot of little nuances to it, but at the end of the day, it's the most genuine moments. And I think that's what Abe and I love about looking at all your guys' footage. So we just want to talk to you guys like people and just kind of let you know what we're looking for. So I guess if we kind of want to start things off and go into content, we were kind of talking the other day, and there's just a couple things I think that, you know, when we're looking through your clips, again, I can't stress this enough, we watch all of your clips. It's a daunting task, but someone's got to do it. There's a couple things that kind of stood out to us. First being perspective, second being setting, and third being personality. So we kind of want to jump into each one of those and just talk to you guys like people. Here we are right now, social distance. So if we kind of jump into the first one, perspective, right? When you think of GoPro, it's always in some funky spot. But at the end of the day, it's always getting some shot where you're like, how the hell did that happen? Well, if we can cue up this video of just some past winners from $1 Million Challenge, as well as the most recent HERO9 launch video, you know, you're gonna notice that, yes, there are some amazing clips in here, but that's the one thing that I love about GoPro so much, is that we get to put it in unique spots. We get to kind of see this first person view, these weird mounted positions on a wakeboard. And now with the HERO9 that we have horizon leveling, there's a lot of new perspectives that we kind of want to see out of you guys. And there's a lot of ways you guys can do that. And, you know, if you think about a GoPro video, you know, you're always thinking about the first person perspective. You're always thinking about those mounted shots, be it on a car or a plane or your dog. But, you know, that's just kind of a big eye catcher for us when we're looking out for stuff like this. Just very unique shots. And, you know, stuff like the max lens mod and other things like that. You know, when people first get their hands on a GoPro, it's kind of like, okay, what can I put this on? What would this look cool on? And I think, you know, we're still finding that after, you know, being here years and years, that, you know, we're seeing people put the camera on things and go, oh, I never would have done that. And, you know, that's the kind of stuff we love seeing. We love seeing your perspective from a head cam or a mouth mount. And I know Abe has been surfing a lot with the max lens mod and doing a lot of horizon leveling stuff. And that's a lot of stuff that we haven't been seeing, is these new perspectives. And I think that's just one of the biggest things that we look for. I feel like I've said perspective 100 times, but I'm just trying to hammer it home. But yeah, Abe, I don't know if there's anything else you want to, you know, talk about perspective-wise.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, one thing that you could notice when we're okay, okay, go ahead, you got this.
Oh no, you're good. I was just gonna say that was an awesome explanation of perspective. The next thing we wanted to talk about is setting. So when you are looking to go out and film something, what we love to have you guys think about is not only what does the surroundings look like, but what is the lighting conditions and what are the colors that I wear. And those all go into what it takes to make this winning shot for a video. So when we're looking through the content submissions, things that are going to catch our eye are things that are like, for example, you can see this picture of the sand dunes. That's all like a yellow environment. And that's a very beautiful piece of image that you could cut to and you immediately recognize the color, the vibrancy. And then if you cut to something else, like this is an ice cave, it's all blue. And when we're shooting at GoPro and we're making edits, we're looking for things that are very vibrant, clean images, thinking about the best lighting conditions. So sunset, sunrise. It's kind of cliche to always think like, oh, every single shot's a sunrise or a sunset, but that's really when you're getting that dynamic lighting, and lighting is everything for shots. And no matter how much post-production we do, which we will do some color correction and stuff, you can't really fix a shot that just didn't start out as an amazing shot to begin with. We can skip over this video, but let's move on. I think you want to talk about personality, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. I think as many as you can tell, is I have a very bubbly personality. So that's one thing that, I think here at GoPro, we love to see is that genuine kind of traits that you guys kind of bring out. If we roll this video, you'll see all these different kind of ways to, turn the camera around and see your face. I think having a GoPro in your face rather than a DSLR or just, being surrounded by it, it does bring out these genuine moments. And we truly do look for those very, very small moments where we see people like actually enjoying the moment, seeing their nervousness as they try to do something new. I think that's just a huge thing that we look for. We love cutting to, genuine moments, hearing you guys talk. So the more that you can kind of bring your personality to whatever you're doing, we love to see it. I understand we're all trying to get the best shot that we can, but being able to see your face is just amazing. So if you're thinking of it, just think PSP, perspective, setting, and personality. Those are big things that we're always looking for. So just, have the little acronym in your head if you'd like. But I guess, after kind of going through all of that, when you are submitting, like I'm saying, we are looking at everything. And I think Abe's going to kind of go over what we see on our side of things and just the best ways to kind of help get your clip, help us see what you're seeing within your clip.
Totally. Yeah, I think I really want to explain the submission process, because I think the most amount of questions that I get are people asking like all of the little details. Can I cut the video if it's a super long video? Can I add color correction to make it look better because I'm shooting flat? If I'm shooting an FPV drone, can I shoot it without hypersmooth and then give you a real steadied version? That's a post-production stabilizer. And the answer is, like we said earlier, it's not a machine looking through it. We're editors. We know what it takes to get a shot. We know the difficulties you're probably going through. So I would say you should submit something that, if you're going to submit something that is edited or cut down, just mention it in the description. Say, this is an edited version. I have the originals on hand. If you can't upload the full original, because I totally understand, you might not have the best internet connection and you're on a location trying to get that last shot and it's a 16 gigabyte file in different parts. But just do a clip of it, upload it, be more descriptive in the description, because we're reading that stuff. So if you say, I'm uploading 2 different clips, this one is real steadied, this one is not real steadied, we're going to see that, and we're going to recognize that. We're going to temp these shots in. If we see an amazing shot, we're going to try to get it through to the end. And then if it gets to the final session of our editing, we'll reach out and ask for those raws. So I would say don't take the rules super. I know it says you have to have the originals, but just know that we're editors on the other end, and we're going to see your content. We're going to recognize it. The one thing I would stress is please, please, please keep your original files, because we will reach out. And we also have metadata in the back end to know if it's shot on HERO9. So make it easy on us. Only submit stuff that was shot on HERO9, because we can tell. And if it wasn't shot on HERO9, or we can't confirm that it was shot on HERO9, then we unfortunately can't use it in the video. So in the end, just submit your clips, do what you need to do to make us see them and recognize them, be more descriptive, and then submit HERO9 stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I think Abe kind of went over everything that you guys need to know, but cannot stress this enough that there are a lot of very normal people going through all of your guys' footage. And as editors, like Abe is saying, we know what it's like to go through a terabyte worth of footage. So trust me, we are looking for those moments that I'm sure that you guys are trying to capture. And speaking of capture, wow, flawless transition. I think, Abe definitely has a couple tips and ideas of, how to utilize the camera properly in the correct settings, because, you know, GoPro does offer a variety of ways to shoot, and Abe's going to kind of elaborate a little bit more on that.
Yeah. Thank you, Contra. So I could honestly go very deep on settings, and I kind of wanted to bring us high level into kind of the two categories that I think of when I'm shooting GoPro content, and that is POV and not POV. It's pretty simple. So there's tons of different features in the HERO9 Black. There's horizon leveling, there's boost mode. These are all different things that change either the crop of your video, and also there's different aspect ratios. But I think the most simplest terms that I like to think about it is if you're shooting POV, that point of view perspective, go as wide as possible. That's kind of the view that GoPro's known for, getting that immersive view, showing the skis. We got a little video to show kind of the difference between the wideness of what it looks like. So on the left, that's kind of like your wide or max lens mod, and then on the right is linear horizon leveling. So on the left, you can see my skis, you can see my arms. It's more immersive shot, and that's the kind of content that GoPro is definitely known for. And so when you're looking at the camera, you get that live view. So when you're flipping through modes, I think a lot of people immediately say, "Oh, I should use boost mode because it's going to be the best stabilization." Well, I would say if you're doing POV, try to avoid things that crop in on the camera. So when you're flipping through these settings and you see what it's doing to your image, if you flip it into boost, you're going to see that it zooms in. If you flip it into linear plus horizon leveling, you'll also see that it zooms in. So you kind of want to navigate the better stabilization trade-offs or the wider lens and figure out what's going to be the best for your application. The other thing that I would suggest if you are filming POV stuff is that 4:3 aspect ratio. It's taller. That's going to be more immersive as well. And we have editing programs on our end that we can utilize that full 4:3 and make it look like super view. So we always love 4:3 clips because it's wider. And then if you're not talking about POV, we'll go on to the everything else bucket. That's when you're going to start experimenting with those things. So you're talking about linear plus horizon leveling if you're doing follow cams. If you're doing unique perspectives and you need that extra boost stabilization, that's when you can start to experiment with these awesome features. Because obviously, I'm not always doing POV. There's a ton of other amazing things that you can do with the camera. So I would experiment with those features. We love to see utilization of GoPro features and showing off the capabilities in the camera.
100%. Abe, well put. Flawless execution. You know, I know we're kind of throwing a lot at you. I know we're just excited to see everything. And if we did have the opportunity to be like, wait, before you go out and shoot, if you could do A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, there's a couple. But I think, you know, everyone's always like tips, tricks, hacks. These are genuine tips that when Abe and I are out shooting, if we're not doing these things, something's wrong. So, you know, we just kind of want to give you guys just 3 little things more on top of everything else to kind of just remember when you're out there. I know that's a lot going on, but if I cannot stress this enough to always wipe your lens. Use your mask, do whatever you got to do. Make sure it's clean before you're going to do your shot. I think that takes a good shot to a great shot. You know, there's nothing like seeing like someone on a ridge about to, you know, Anthony's on a ridge about to go run on some rocks, and then all of a sudden it's smeared and now the sunlight looks terrible. And I'm crying in the corner. I'm telling Abe we have to delete the clip. It's not a good look for us either. So always wipe your lens before you do anything. 2, 3 times, 5 times. And then another thing kind of along those lines is, I know we've kind of been broken records today saying that we're editors, which is true, but you know, that means we're doing a lot of stuff on our end on the post side of things. And, you know, with the GoPro and the Pro Tune settings, it does allow you to kind of curate what look you kind of want. And the best thing for us when we're editing is low sharpening. Low sharpening, low sharpening. 3 times, I said it, remember that. It gives us, you know, the ability to kind of take the sharpening that we're getting off of the camera, or we can tune it a bit on our post-production side. And that's a huge thing that we love to see when it comes to the footage that you guys are submitting. And for this third and final tip, I'm gonna throw it back over to Abe because he's the king of this. So Abe, why don't you tell him?
Thank you. Yes. The last one is managing your exposure. So if you're a filmmaker, you know that it really comes down to capturing on scene, getting the best images into the camera. Like I said earlier, we can't fix like a bad shot in post as much as we would love to, but if you can get that exposure right on site, that's going to really be key. So there's a number of ways to do this. On the camera, you have your EV compensation. I would just say manage it, use the screen, see if you're going to be running through different lighting conditions, either pop that EV comp down to -0.5 or even -1. We really just want to look out for the images to be overexposed. The other option is you can press and hold on the back screen and initiate a full lock exposure. And I do this all the time. I would say that's one of the biggest things that I like to tell people is lock that exposure if you're not sure if it's just like perfect lighting conditions all the time. That helps it so if you're looking down, you start out looking at the horizon, then you look down, that exposure stays nice. It goes and looks nice and dark when you look down, because really that camera, if it's not like that, if it's not locked, sometimes it thinks a dark scene should get neutral, and so it'll make it much brighter. And that's what happens when you're looking out at the horizon, then you look down and it gets really bright. So locking the exposure and managing the exposure is a huge key to getting nice lighting conditions out in the field.
Absolutely. And that kind of, you know, wraps up the what it takes section as my voice cracks. So we just kind of want to throw it back to Cohen. Abe, I know there is kind of a settings guide that you could talk about.
Yeah. So before we throw it back, I know we've said a lot, and there's a lot more settings than the camera. But we do have this settings guide that we have. If you just take your phone and scan this QR code, that'll link you to our settings guide. It talks about some of our favorite modes and resolutions in the camera, and then also some of our favorite Pro Tune settings. So remembering that low sharpening, and then talking about ISO and what that means. And one thing I do want to note is if you are filming stuff like in a dark forest, I think this settings guide mentions that we like to cap our ISO at ISO 400-ish. That ensures that your blacks get nice and black when it gets dark, but it also kind of counteracts with hypersmooth. So if you are doing stuff like mountain biking in a forest, I would suggest popping that ISO max higher, maybe even 1600 or 3200. And that will ensure that your hypersmooth stays nice and crispy when you're going through those shaky moments. If you kind of know that you can get a stable shot and you're trying to go for a cinematic look, that's when you want to bump that ISO down and kind of manage the noise levels. But definitely check that settings guide out. And thank you guys for allowing us to speak. We are going to throw it back over to Cohen, who's going to talk about the submission process. But good luck, everybody. We love seeing your content, and it's such a fun way to engage the community and then just put your stuff on a global platform. And we could not be more excited to be the editors on this project. So thank you for trusting us with your dearly beloved content, and we hope to make you proud.
Well, thank you, Abe. Thank you, Ryan. I know that I've been watching some of the comments pop in throughout your guys' time, and just everyone is super appreciative of you guys sharing, this information. A couple of comments like Athriash Shetty, who joins us quite often. Thank you for being, on another GoPro tips. But basically, they said, Abe, everything that you walked through, and Ryan, that you walked through, answered so many of the questions that they had last year, and they wish they would have been able to have this type of information. So know that this is something that we want to continue to bring you guys. And so just know that whether it's for $1 Million Challenge or future GoPro tips and tricks, the GoPro Tips YouTube page will be a home that you guys want to bookmark, subscribe, to make sure you can get options and opportunities to come to great, live streams like we have today. So now if you guys want to know how it works, you've gone out there, you've shot some content on your HERO9, you're ready to submit. Well, the first thing that you're going to have to do is walk through this cool slide we got here so we can get some visuals. So the first step, it's your HERO9 Black. So use your HERO9 Black camera to go out and capture your favorite video clips. We're looking for, your life's most memorable moments from all these things that, Abe, Tyler, and Ryan have been talking about, as well as, using those new features that, both Andrews and Anthony have spoke. And then once you submit, our team will go through, and the individuals that are chosen will get an equal cut of that. So I'm now gonna, tee up a couple videos that we have so we can actually walk through the desktop if you're gonna be submitting stuff through your computer, as well as we now have a way that you can submit right through mobile. So as you guys see on the screen here, you guys will just scroll to GoPro.com/awards. You'll see how it works. Right there, you'll see that we can find the $1 Million Challenge. You can see all the different, details. If you're looking, again, what are the guidelines? Abe walked through those, but there are the guidelines if you forget. Also, some inspiration from some of the guys you have on today's show, as well as last year's winners. You just click the submit button. It's on the top and in the middle. And from there, you're just going to instantly click the upload content. Find where your content is. I've got this, sweet clip with my beautiful wife and I. It's a little time warp, so we're going to submit that clip. And this is where, to Abe's point, this is when you're putting things in the description. Make sure you use a name that's descriptive of maybe what type of shot, maybe what kind of settings. In the description itself, this is that opportunity that if you do have a 5-minute clip, and it's really important that at minute 3:22 that is when your banger moment happens, like put those in there. Make it easy for these guys. Like last year was 350 hours of content that they had to go through. That means 350 hours of scrubbing through stuff. So any way that you can help make that process more simple, more easy, and ultimately even calling out like, hey, here's a clip in a raw, like it's just going to save these guys time. Other things you can do is tag the products you're using. Obviously, you'll want to tag HERO9, but didn't tag any of those other accessories, mounts, or activities you're doing. You can throw your handle in, and what you'll see on the next clip is now what you can do for mobile. So, JD, maybe you can tee up the mobile video, and we'll just kind of push through that. So if you guys, don't want to have to worry about your computers, and if you're like our man Ron Ing, you're just running your whole life off your phone, you can do it right through the GoPro app. All you need to do is click settings and then go to the GoPro awards link, and then it's going to take you through the same type of experience. You just go in, you click submit, and as long as the footage has been stored to the phone, you can go right into your gallery and find that clip. I've got this cool little TimeWarp time lapse that I did in front of my house. Check it out, make sure it's the right one. Like, okay, cool, that looks good. And then I'm going to choose it. And just like you've got the same form to fill out, and you can do that all right from your phone. So if you are out in the wild, you don't have time to get it back to the computer, just connect to the GoPro app, download that clip, and you can do it right from your phone. So whether you're sitting in, out in the field or what have you, this will just be a great way so that you don't ever have to even worry about getting the stuff onto your computer. So I hope that's giving you guys a great walkthrough of both the mobile as well as the desktop solution to get your footage submitted for this year's $1 Million Challenge. And remember, December 4th at 11:59 p.m. Pacific Standard Time is your deadline. So I hope this has been, we've been talking about a lot. We're so excited to have these special guests on today to not only be here to talk about, some of their best practices, what it takes, their tips and tricks, but we really want to now spend the rest of the time and let you guys ask your questions through the Q&A. So remember, if you guys didn't get a chance at the beginning of the show, throw your comments in. We've got live moderators, and they're going to be picking 2 of the best questions to win their very own HERO9 Black, as well as if you wanted to pick up your own or maybe a second camera. Right now, as you can see on these slides, we've got an incredible deal with including the GoPro subscription at $349. It is by far the greatest deal you're going to see on our GoPros right out of the gate. All you have to do is scan this QR code or head to the link, and it'll take you right to GoPro.com to pick up the purchase, as well as bang for your buck. Man, the HERO9 Black bundle. It's a $499 MSRP, and with the GoPro subscription as well as the bundled equipment, you're getting it for $349. $99. So an awesome value for everything that you're getting, and obviously a great way to get, you know, a jump start on your HERO9 Black $1 million challenge. So I want to thank everybody so much for taking time for the presentations, but now I get to interact with all of you guys. So I'm going to bring all of our guests back on, and moderators, thank you so much in advance for helping tee up some questions. So what's up, everybody? How's it all going? Oh yeah, look at that. Brady
What's
Bunch
up?
Jeopardy right here. I can look down, I can look left or right. It's good to see. It's good to see you guys. So we have close to 500 people live right now. Tons of questions have been pumping in. So thank you guys all for sticking on for, you know, this entire time. And, you know, again, if you have any questions, we'll be firing through these. So the first one that we'd like to throw out there is Alex. The Checo Challenge says, the rules say must be in high res. So does that mean it's 4K 60 on the HERO9 will qualify, or does it have to be 5K? And I think, Abe, you touched on this a little bit, but maybe could you kind of highlight what we mean by highest quality?
Yes, definitely. Great question. We're not limiting you to any specific resolution in the camera. If it's shot on a HERO9, it's going to be accepted. We do love higher resolutions, but we also love amazing slow-mo moments. We know sometimes those don't go hand in hand. So what we mean by high resolution is just keeping those original files. If it's recorded and it's an original file, we'll take it, we'll use it in the video.
Sweet. Well, thank you, Abe. I hope that answered your question. And again, just keep firing them away. I mean, we want to use this as your opportunity, because last thing we want is you guys to submit something that you just forgot to do one little thing. And like, you know, Abe said, you shot it on a HERO8 and you thought HERO8 could be, you know, it could work. And obviously we know it can only be HERO9 Black content. And we know the metadata shows us. So there's no cheating us. You know, you shoot it on a Max. We're going to know you shot it on a Max. Stephen Donovan. So Jeremy Lopes would like to know, what's the best GoPro editing workflow from the moment you plug the camera into the computer to YouTube plus Instagram? So I think this would be great. I'd love to hear from a couple of you guys, because each one of you, I don't know if there really is a best, right? It's more going to be what is your workflow, and maybe you guys can say through over the years, maybe some things that have helped you maybe streamline your workflow, because I think best is super subjective. So I don't know who wants to start, but maybe a couple of you guys could chime in on this question.
I can start. I like to go right into Premiere Pro. I've also, with Max, I do a lot with the GoPro app, so I'm going back and forth. But with the HERO9, I'll probably just go right into Adobe Premiere Pro.
And what about you, Andrews?
Yeah, I use GoPro app if I have quick, but if don't, I use Final Cut. So
I'm on Premiere Pro, and even for max shot, I use Premiere Pro. I think like it's more, I don't know, like sometimes I do what I have in mind better. Or, yeah, Premiere Pro. Definitely.
And then, you know, Abe and Contra, I think you guys probably are the, you know, you've got a very professional level workflow, and similar to what, you know, our other advocates and family members here. But one person that I wanted to bring on real quick, because if you guys haven't checked out his recent YouTube channel, Ron has actually been producing everything through the GoPro app and using his mobile phone. So if you're looking at like, hey, can I create professional, high quality footage? And do I have to have Premiere? Do I need to have all the fancy computer? The answer is no. So Ron, we're gonna tee you up. You wanna kind of walk through your workflow? And so Jade, can you tee up Ron Ing to answer that question?
Yo, what's up, Cohen? And yeah, you know, I'm always a mobile guy, so I love the mobile workflow. Yes, Cohen, you're right as well. I think GoPro app, I really love it for, especially for stories. You know, I use it a lot, especially for 9:16 straight to Instagram stories. But if I want to go a little bit more into detail, then I would probably pull out some other mobile app. The one that I like to use, it's actually this one called VideoLip. It's a free mobile app, and that's the one that I've been using to cut all the YouTube videos. mixing it up, the overlays, the music, and it's sweet. It's really handy, it's really easy, and it's in my pocket all the time. I can edit it in train, I can edit it on the go. So I'm a mobile workflow guy.
That's awesome.
Well, hey, that's so awesome, Ron. And, I think we've all been really stoked on the content. And when I remember when you told me that you were running everything on your phone, I was just blown away by the quality and, just what you've been able to do from your mobile device. Just to think 5 years ago, what, our phones are more powerful than the computers we had 5 years ago. It's pretty impressive. And even things like Max, to be able to do mobile reframing and stitching through the GoPro app is just, Abe and Contra know so well about, working with some of our old 360 footage and just how long it took to do a 5-second clip.
Oh yeah.
The rendering time, right? Like what would be the rendering time on one of those old 360 clips?
It was a week-long process to go from a 5-second clip to a finished video, 6 cameras. It's crazy how far we've come, for sure.
Well, one thing that we've got a question from Gareth around is in regards to some settings. So when shooting 2.7K, is it better to shoot in the 4.3 or 16:9? And Gareth loves the 2.7K 120.
Okay. If you love 120, then you are obviously limited to 16:9. But I am a big fan of 4x3, and I do stay away from any super view modes. If you're looking for a 4x3 with 120, we do have 1440. You are losing some quality there. But that is something to consider as well, especially if it is like some POV. You always do want a bigger, you're not sacrificing anything when you're shooting 4x3. You're getting more image. That's something that everyone should know. It's the same this way, but when you add 4x3, you're just getting more. That's a long story. We just wish could hit over the head more and more. But if you're going for high res, slow motion, then yes, 2.7K 120 at 16:9 is going to be great. But if just depending on what you're doing, we do love 4x3. Kind of curious what you think too, Ed.
Yeah. I actually really like the 1440. I know it's a lower resolution, but back in the day, 1440 was an amazing resolution. But the 1440 in the HERO9 is actually vastly improved. The 120, as what I'm mentioning, vastly improved in the HERO9 versus even the HERO8. So I actually really like that mode, and it's almost kind of comparable once you do all your stretching and stuff, and you squish that frame into the 16:9. That 1440 really looks good, and it's got that extra immersive view. So we love, you want super slow-mo, and you kind of got to ask yourself, do I need super slow-mo? But if it is something where you're doing an amazing POV trick or something, and you want that extra view and that slow motion, then yeah, 1440 is great.
Yeah, thank you, Abe. And I think it kind of drives back home what you were talking about, both you and Contra, is that 4x3, for any POV is really going to be the most important thing. So I think it's, as you guys know, you can use that settings card that we, that we scanned, that you can scan the QR code for, and we've broken it down by the presets. So we've got POV, non-POV, and slow-mo, and it's going to kind of give you the best of both worlds. One setting is going to give you the highest resolution from that preset, and the other one's going to give you the highest frame rate. And really that's where you guys kind of have to go back and always shoot with intent. What are you guys going to be doing with the footage? What do you want the shot to be? Because if you don't need slow-mo, well, then you should prioritize and have a higher resolution. But if you need slow-mo, you're going to have to prioritize that. So hopefully that's giving you some great tips. And I think we can go move into this question about, from Ben Bickersmy. So Ben's question is, I've owned several generations of GoPros. For the competition, do you feel it's better to focus on showing off the technical advances between the generations, or is it better to focus on content?
Abraham?
Sure. Yeah, I can take that one. It's a mixture of both, but I would say ultimately this is a content competition. I know it's for a camera company, but we want to drive an emotional video, and content is what is going to do that. Yes, you can utilize the technical abilities of the camera, and we love to see it. We love watching hyperlapses. We love watching day to night time lapses, all of these cool things that we can factor into the video. But ultimately, we're scrolling through this stuff. We have a meeting with a bunch of people weekly where we just watch all these videos, and it's the eye-catching videos that make us stop and say, that is something that's amazing. I've never seen that before. So definitely, content is going to trump technical stuff, and that even goes to, when we talk about high resolutions and stuff. Sometimes, if the content's amazing, it doesn't matter whether it was shot on a higher resolution or not. The things that we do look out for, though, is stabilization. And so we don't want to show stuff that is shaky, because we know that that's kind of one of the biggest things of GoPro is wide lenses plus stabilization. And so, yeah.
Well, thank you, Abe, for answering that question. I think this kind of goes back to another question for you as well, is like, so if someone wants to use slow-mo, so Liz Candy, and I think I can just answer this quickly. Liz Candy wanted to know, how are you going to make slow-mo with 5K 30 clips? Because we have to make the clips in the highest resolution. So I think it kind of goes back to earlier, is highest resolution doesn't necessarily mean you have to put the camera in 5K 30 and go shoot everything in 5K 30, because one is, Abe and Ryan talked about, is that for POV, you're going to want 4:3, which means 5K 30 is only 16:9. So you would never technically be able to do 4:3 in 5K. So again, I think the settings card is a great way for you to balance between highest resolution and frame rates. And ultimately, it's just, we want the thing, it's more important you change your bit rate to high than it is necessarily that you shoot in 5K or not. So if you're in your ProTune settings, we would suggest going into the settings and turning that bit rate to high, because that's going to increase the quality for all the footage that's coming out of the camera, not just the 5K stuff. All right, so I've got this question for you, Anthony. So the question is, where did that go? How do you turn on the horizon leveling plus linear? What do you do to do that? Like, is that a button you turn on, or what do you do to turn on the horizon leveling plus linear?
But what do you mean, like on the camera?
Yeah, on the camera. The question, how do I turn on horizon leveling?
So you go to the settings, and then normally it's presets you have on the GoPro, but cinematic shot. So by example, on the shot you seen the video when I was speaking, it's 4K linear plus horizon leveling, and yeah, you just set this, and everything is perfect. And then after, you almost can move your camera like 45 degrees, and the horizon is staying like stable. That's pretty crazy. So yeah. that's in the setting. You just go through, and like the guy at GoPro worked well. It's inside. Normally, when you got your GoPro, that's already on. So just set your POV, set the slow motion how you want it, and then the cinematic is already done.
Yeah, for sure. And I think what's super great is, you can save your own presets. You can actually build up to 10 of your own. So you guys can build, you could have a horizon leveling plus linear preset. You could customize them based on the settings that we provide, or just whatever you works best for you. And, to Andy's point, it's literally just one of our lens options. So you can just go in and just like wide, wide, narrow, and linear, you'll now have the linear plus horizon leveling lens in the settings. So King Ying would like to know, is the challenge open to everyone in the world with the HERO9, or just GoPro family members? So it is open. It's a global challenge open to everybody. And the only requirement is that you own a HERO9 and submit that content. And again, like technically everyone that owns a HERO9 owns a HERO7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. If you guys are actively shooting and sharing and submitting, we're all part of the GoPro family. Like, it is not something that is exclusive, that if you are out there, shooting and submitting to awards, you're a part of our GoPro family. And so, yes, technically it is also open to all GoPro family members, but really just anybody in the community that has access to the HERO9. Borrow a friend's too. It doesn't have to be your HERO9. Just the footage has to come off the HERO9. All right. So Tony Spires, when filming in RAW format to submit to the $1 Million Challenge, does the video shooting in flat color profile instead of using ProTune or GoPro color?
I can take this one. So we'll accept anything that was shot on the camera in any color profile. I actually like GoPro color because it's pretty easy out of the box, and it looks great usually. But if you shoot flat, like, we totally recognize the people that are filmmakers that might know a little bit more about what they're doing and know about post production. They want to shoot flat, and that's totally fine. We'll correct for it on the back end. We'll make it look good.
Thank you. Yeah, and I mean, it really just depends on what you guys are going to do also with the footage. And so, all right, let's look down. We got, man, so many questions coming in. So, Ryan Tanhi GoPro Q&A, that's a sweet name. If you have a 5-minute video with only 5 seconds of a good shot, should I submit the whole video or trim it and submit it? So I think back to what Abe and I were talking about and Contra were talking about earlier is, hey, if you have the ability, upload the whole clip, and then in the description, call out those key moments of where those awesome, experiences happened. If for whatever reason you're in a place or a situation where you can upload it, you can upload the trim, but in the description, again, put like, I have all the raws, if needed. So just again, like, imagine you're dealing with real people here. So at the same time, just be transparent. And this is the way that you can kind of communicate to them through your submission process. So anything you can do to make that a little bit more simple will be better.
Yeah,
I will
one
add a
thing,
little bit.
one thing I want to say on this one, like, if you guys uploading for GoPro $1 Million Challenge, upload everything, because if you clip make it, like, the surprise is insane when you see it on the video. And if you say ask me for the raw, so you never know. So
Yeah.
upload everything and just wait.
Yeah, you might get your hopes up if we do ask the raws and then it doesn't make it too. That might be a questionable situation too. But I just want to give a little bit of color also is sometimes we have people in the description say, like, here's one clip, but I also have a bunch more footage, because I know, like, when I go out shooting, I shoot a full day's worth of content, and I'm not going to sit there and upload every single piece. I'm probably going to pick out my favorite moment from that shoot and say, I have this also from these other perspectives, but this is my favorite shot. And so you can just be descriptive in what you're shooting and what you're uploading, and we'll totally recognize that and see it.
I think one other thing too is sometimes we'll put a timestamp on when we think our best part of our clip is, and you guys might see another part of that clip that you guys like more. So I think that's another reason why it's important to put the whole clip up there.
Totally,
Yeah.
totally.
Sure. Yeah, and I think, Contra said this really well about personality. Again, like, sometimes we're literally just looking when you, like, tripped and almost fell on your face, and we're looking for that true, just natural, genuine, authentic reaction. And that 1/2 second or 1 second could be the clip that wins you the $1 million, that helps you get a cut of that $1 million. It doesn't have to be a crazy backflip or an insane trip, trick. So I got this question, for everybody, because I think this is an awesome question that I'd love to hear. I think everybody would love to hear. If you guys could only use one mount or accessory with your GoPro for the rest of your life, what would it be and why? And maybe let's just go around the horn. So we'll start with you, Ryan, and then we'll finish with you, Tyler.
Yes, very easy. I mean, I know I was talking about perspectives, but that's what I love about this camera. So that first person view is my go-to no matter what. So I'm always using the bite mount that we have. We have our own little custom ones that we make in-house, and those are attached to every single GoPro I have. And you can set it down on the ground. It's COVID, so maybe don't do that right now. But it's a little tripod. It's perfect for POV. You can hold it out and get a self-capture shot. It really is like my go-to mount. Anything that I can get straight POV from is my favorite thing. So it's pretty simple for me.
All right, Abe, what about you?
I would probably second that. I think bite mount is the thing that I use most often. It's the way of genuinely capturing what you're doing. Some people might feel like it's intrusive, but you kind of forget, like, when you're doing stuff, you just kind of like get into the moment. If you're not comfortable with the bite mount, the head cam, like the head strap, is awesome. But I just love those authentic moments that you capture when you kind of forget the camera's rolling. And then when you look back on these moments months or years later, you have this incredible like perspective of your vision and kind of what you were going through. And it's kind of funny when you're watching back. Sometimes you'll watch the footage and you'll say something like, oh, wow. And then in the footage, you'll hear yourself say, oh, wow, like right afterwards. It's like this trippy, like, that is my brain that's working. And it's kind of weird.
All right, Anthony, what about you?
I would say the POV on my helmet. I love being able to speak while I'm filming, and yeah, I love POV shoot. So helmet mount, like just a normal one, but that's it.
Yeah, so right out of the box, right? Your mount comes right in there, that little curved adhesive.
Yeah, yeah. I just put the sticker and then go shoot. It's what we use the most in mountain bike.
Absolutely, and obviously create some really great perspective of those gnarly ridge lines you run. Mr. Santana in Brazil, what would be your favorite and only mount if you were stranded on this desert island?
Yeah, I've been using a lot the three-way. For me, the most versatility accessory to have. So we can stand our arm using like a tripod. It's underwater. So for me, it's the best.
Yeah, we love the three-way. I mean, it truly is an extension of your arm. And like you said, whether it be the tripod, a pole, selfie stick, like it is, just super versatile for so many different use cases. And Tyler, what about you, my friend? What would be your only GoPro accessory if you had to choose one?
I love the three-way as well, but I'm going to go with one that's just like it, but a little bit different, and the Max Grip. I love how solid and stable this is when it's extended, and it's also got the tripod down here in the handle. So if I could only have one grip or one mount and I needed something, I would want something versatile like that for sure.
Awesome. We love them too. Actually, both Abe and Ryan are using them right now for their HERO9s for the show today. So they obviously get you that great height for those perfect tripod needs. And if I had to answer the question, I would probably mimic both Ryan and Abe. I love the I think being able to have the quick release on there, so like if we're out hiking and I have my seeker on, I can throw it right in my backpack and get a cool perspective from my backpack strap, and I don't have to feel like I have the camera in my mouth the whole time. I don't have to have a head strap on, or maybe I don't have a helmet because I'm just hiking. Hopefully I'm not wearing helmets while I'm hiking, maybe, but I love being able to then throw it in my handler, and now I've got something I can take in the water, and I can hold that in my mouth, and it's something that, from skiing to water to just activities, it by far is a mount that I never leave home without. I do just have to clean it quite a bit, have those alcohol wipes, because, Ryan, to your point, putting it on the ground, last thing I want to do is put it back in my mouth.
Yeah, a little sketchy.
All right, so let's got another quick question. Are 2.7K resolution shots acceptable for the $1 Million Challenge? And do we have to merge all our best clips into the video and send it to GoPro Awards? No. You can send individual clips. And again, it's not like it has to be, if it's 1440, 120, and it's an amazing slow motion shot, we want to see that. It's not that everything has to be the highest possible resolution. Okay. Murad Maui wants to know, does GoPro recommend shooting with ProTune manual settings or just out of the box auto video settings for this challenge and for awards? And if so, what are the ProTune settings that GoPro recommends?
I can take this one. If you know what you're doing with the camera and you know how to set up a camera manually, I think that's always going to get you more control, and it's going to get you a better shot overall. So I kind of come back to when I'm using my DSLR, the photos that you can get when you set it in manual versus auto are completely different. They look like two different cameras. The same thing goes with a GoPro. There's just a ton of manual settings to really dial in, getting the best light, the best white balance. If you know what you're doing, go ahead and do that. If you don't know what you're doing and you're just trying to capture an authentic moment, that's also equally as important. So I would say either one, but if you definitely know what you're doing, go for it. And then as far as settings, we have that settings card. As I mentioned, my website has a bunch of, not to give a plug, but has a bunch of information of my favorite settings and different shots and what I would use in different instances. And that's abekislovitz.com.
I will definitely plug Abe's website. You guys should go to Abe's website because I go to Abe's website to look for.
And I was going to bring that up.
I mean, all of
I
us
was going
on
to bring that up too, because
right,
I went there straight off the bat from my presets. So thank you, Abe.
Yeah, no worries.
And if you guys want to see, like, maybe real quick, JD, could you pull up the slide that's here on screen now? This actually is one of the shots from the PDF from that settings card. So if you guys want to see, again, kind of what those preferred settings are, we've broken it down by activity, cinematic, and slow-mo. The gray ones are the ones that are default on the camera, and the ones in pink are kind of our highest resolution or frame rate. And then the Pro Tune settings are over on the side. And again, just to Abe's point, if you are using hyper smooth in those lower light conditions, or you are just in a little bit lower light conditions, make sure you bump up your ISO and adjust your EV compensation to help make sure that your footage is exposed correctly and hyper smooth is working primo. So inside that material, you're going to have all sorts of other great things to highlight and really help you out in capturing. So make sure you reference that. Let's see here. We've got some other great questions. Andrews, I know you've been sitting there patiently waiting for a question, so I've got one for you. Where did that question? Okay, so Justin Tolman wanted to know, Abe, as you talked about managing exposure, for you, Andrews, what are 3 techniques that you use for managing exposure in the field? And I know you're a big fan of using ND filters. So is it ND filters? Is it camera settings? Or how do you help manage exposure in those, bright, sunny outdoor conditions, or maybe a low light condition?
So as Eb said, I put down the AV compensation when I use the GoPro without the ND filters. I set my ISO as low as possible, my AV compensation as well, and if I need more control, I just touch my screen until I have exposure control, and that's it. It's not too hard to do, but I set it like that.
Absolutely. And I'd say that's one thing that's really nice about having the front screen and also, the back screen is that you can adjust those settings in real time, and you kind of have what you see is what you get. So if you want to see, is it too dark? Is it too light? Just start playing with the settings and use the slider up and down, and you'll be able to see right there whether or not it, is exposed correctly. Obviously, if you want to create motion blur, ND filters are going to, the Polar Pro ND filters are going to be, super necessary to do that. And I think, Andrews, you mentioned that shot you had earlier was an ND32, correct?
Yes, fine.
Cool. Check out Polar Pro or GoPro.com if you're looking for the ND filters. You can pick them up on either site. They've got an awesome little set. It comes with an 8, a 16, and a 32 to give you kind of multiple stops for different use cases. All right, Sarvesh wants to know, can you please suggest aspect ratios required for videos in $1 Million Challenge, like at GoPro Tips? So I think we've talked about this a few times, but Contra, I know we want to beat it home. So what is your suggestion for aspect ratio?
I mean, as far as aspect ratio, if you're talking 4:3 versus 16:9, again, we do love 4:3, but I know that's not available in all modes and in all frame rates. Whenever you kind of think that is, I think, Cohen, you said it the best, like shoot with intent, there isn't a go-to mode that's like, this is going to work for everything. You really want to make sure, like, okay, do I need to slow this down? Should I, is the moment going to be something where I do really want to slow it down? Just really have these conversations with yourself before you kind of hit that record button. And, that's kind of what you really need to kind of realize yourself, I guess, in that way. We love high resolution. I know we keep hitting that home, but 1080 is HD. 5K is ultra HD. But we take everything in between, and it's kind of up to you in the setting that you're, trying to capture. So again, go back. I know we keep saying it, go back to that kind of card that we flashed up a couple times, but that's really, it's up to you guys too. We don't want to be so prescriptive because, working here, I started like looking through everyone's videos on YouTube many, many years ago. And, not everyone's shooting in the best modes, but they're shooting with intent. They have character, they have personality, they have amazing shots. And that's really what we care about. Yes, of course, we want a shot in, our snooty modes that Abe and I love to shoot in, but, it's you guys that make this video amazing. And that's what we really want to hit home, is that like this competition is for everyone. We see your names, we remember your name if you've submitted 14 clips, 30 clips, 1 clip. Just really understand that, yes, we have our tips and tricks, but it really is all about you guys. So I don't know if that helps, man, but I'm sure Abe and AbeGiftSlits.com would help a little bit more, but just know that it's a lot more than just settings for us over here, especially when we're going through everything with you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's like what Tyler Jordan spoke to so well, is that your imagination is truly the only limitation. And while the camera is capable of doing so many things, a lot of it's going to come down to like, can you just look at the same thing from a different perspective and come up with a new way to capture something that we've seen? We don't want it to look like it was shot on your iPhone or an SLR. That's what makes GoPro so cool, is it can be put and captured in places and perspectives that could never been, captured with another capture device. And so I think that's, again, if you can think about what you're going to do ahead of time, that's really going to help you make sure you get a shot that you're really proud of, no matter what settings you end up using. All right, so Mason Adventure wants to know, is there an age requirement for the challenge? It's a great question. Technically, as long as the person has cleared rights, then from what we understand, you can check all the T's and C's. But I believe there isn't an age restriction.
Yeah, I think it comes down to kind of a legality point. If we can get your signature, you can't just go filming a bunch of random people if they're doing something cool and then run away and go submit the clip of Anthony charging down a mountain bike line. You need to kind of know the people that are in your shot. We've had little babies talking about chickens. We've had older people. It doesn't really matter. Unless I'm speaking completely wrong, but it is very like, it's a participation kind of thing. You need to know who's in your clips. You just can't kind of go out and shoot whoever you want.
Absolutely. And if you do have other questions, you can always check GoPro.com/awards for the full terms and conditions. All right, so we're gonna take a couple more questions and we're gonna wrap up. And again, like if you didn't get your question answered, just tag us. Find us on Instagram, find us on our different channels, and we're always here, whether it be on the GoPro side or obviously our GoPro family members. As Andrew said, like he's here to help educate and spread the word. So is Anthony, so is Tyler. Like we are all very passionate about this. We love GoPro, and we're super down to make sure that you guys continue to have a great experience just like we do. So all right, so leading into the last couple questions, what's the best setup for water action for regular use to edit on a phone or PC, but user friendly? So maybe Tyler, I know you spend a lot of time shooting stuff down in San Diego in the water, and you too, Andrews. Like, what are some maybe some tips or tricks you have for simple, easy to use best practices in water?
In the water, I love to use the DOM, DOM, to do a distance between the water and the lens. And the settings is the same. Everything depends of the light. So that's it. there's no secret, guys.
Yeah, the resolution is the same as on land for me, but the main thing always is when you're in the water, lick and dunk before you shot.
For sure.
Yeah, saliva and dunk, get it on there real good and dunk, and that keeps those water drops off the lens for you. That's really the biggest thing of all.
Yes, for sure. I know Abe and I actually talk about that tip and trick a lot, like the lick, dunk, and then the shake, right? Just to get those last little water drops off
the
there.
shake, the Morocco.
Yeah, what if you've scuba dived or just worn any type of mask? We know our saliva creates that natural, almost like Rain-X, and helps that water just shed right off. So, it might look weird when you're licking the GoPro lens, but I've got countless hours of footage of me just licking the screen and licking the lens. Well, we'll never use that. It obviously meant, as we talked about, one of the biggest tips and tricks that Abe and Ryan had were keep that lens clean. So in the water, it's no different. Obviously you can't use a lens cloth when you're snorkeling or swimming or something, but your tongue does a great job.
It does.
Okay. So this is kind of an interesting question. It's in regards to just like wearing other brands' gear. So, Timothy would like to know, during the shoot, should I avoid wearing well-known brands from a legal point of view, or in order to have more chance of getting selected? So whether that be gear, whether that be clothing, is that something that they need to, individuals need to worry about?
Let me grab this one. From a wardrobe kind of point of view, a big thing that we like to emphasize is color. So I know your specific question was about logos, but if you are able to kind of control what you're wearing, which I hope you can, bright colors, things that pop on camera are things that we love to see. If you're skydiving in all black, I'm sure it's going to look cool, but if there's like a pop of color, or your parachute was very cool, or if you're, running on the beach and just some accent of color. I mean, it's kind of why I wore this green jacket, but just like Abe and myself, I honestly wear black and white all the time. But when I'm shooting, or if I have to be on camera, I'm wearing some article of clothing that pops. So a blue shirt with, black jeans, or, it depends on like what gear you have for your specific sport. But we always love to see color when we can, because it just adds another element, especially like using GoPro color. It's very poppy. And, we love to just bring that extra element if we can. But as far as logos, yes, we love to avoid logos. So as much as I love Nike, maybe not your Nike hoodie. But I think that's probably our best practices when it comes to wardrobe. Abe, am I forgetting anything else?
No, I think that's probably appropriate. It's sometimes hard to tell because there's a lot of endemic brands like mountain bike gear that have like Oakley logos and stuff like that. I think if it's like a kind of corner pop or something, that's usually fine. If it becomes more of an issue when it's like a larger global brand, that it might just be front and center, like you're trying to advertise for something, that I don't know if it's going to skew us away from the shot, but it's definitely going to put a kink in the road on the approval process, which we don't usually like to have.
Yeah,
for sure. And thank you for answering that question. And, Ryan, thank you specifically for calling out that pop of color. I know that when we've gone on athlete shoots and done things in the past, like, our snow athletes that wear all black, like, wow, they might be doing some incredible things, like having some sort of orange, red, something that can pop, even if it's your goggles, your helmet, your gloves, just something that, so you're just not, super dark or just bland.
Well, real quick, another thing I think you guys could probably talk about, you guys know more about this than I do, and we don't have this to worry about here in California right now, but stuff like shooting at Disneyland too. Is there any restriction for that?
I am not the one to ask, but if Ali Menj, my favorite producer, was here, I'm sure she could give me a better answer on that. But I don't want to just like stray anyone away from doing anything. Obviously don't want anyone doing anything crazy, but that is stuff like Abe is saying, there are like bumps in the road. Sometimes if we do really like a clip, we still have to do all the legal behind it too. So as cool as the shot may be, or this is the best shot of my life, you got to understand that we're doing everything on our side too to help that process along. But if there are those bumps, it makes it a little more difficult.
Mm-hmm. And we have been in the past where we get to the final stage where we, as editors, we say, we love this cut. These are the clips that we want to use. And then legal comes in and does the chopping block because we can't get rights to something, or there was that bump in the road and a clip might get pulled in the final hour. And that's never something that we want to see, because we know it's about content for us. But we do have some legalities that we have to play with.
Yeah.
That's a great point. And I know this doesn't necessarily apply for the $1 Million Challenge, you know, when it comes to music. But one thing that's really nice, if you ever are submitting stuff to GoPro Awards or want to be featured on any of our channels, we want to make sure that you guys have the best way to make sure you have awesome audio available. So when you guys go to submit through GoPro Awards, there's actually a link that pops up, and anyone that is participating in our awards program and submitting GoPro content can get free access to our Epidemic sound you know, setup, and you guys can use that, download, you know, whether it be cool noise effects, music tracks, everything you guys heard this morning on our pre-show, that was all pulled from Epidemic Sound. So the library is massive, and that is also just going to be, you know, same thing. Last thing we want to do is get all the way down the line, and then the song that you have, we can't get rights to, and you either have to go back and recut the whole video, or we just can't use it. So that's another great tip for music, and it's free. You just got to go on and accept, you know, through your GoPro.com account. Well, this brings us to the very end of our show, and I want to wrap it up because I know we've, you know, man, it's been incredible. The conversation has been great. We've ran a little bit longer than we had planned, but I think it's because you guys, you know, wanted to keep chatting with us, and we just appreciate all of you spending so much time with us today. And hopefully this has given you guys an awesome opportunity to hear from some former winners and their tips and tricks, their love for, you know, features and benefits, as well as, you know, from right behind the, you know, the veil, from the guys that are going to be building it, you know, what it's really going to take to get featured in the HERO9 from both Abe and from Ryan. So thank you guys so much for taking time today. Before I close it out though, we have to do a little drum roll, and we need to give away a couple cameras. So if you guys can give me a drum roll, moderators have picked the best questions. So drum roll, and for the first HERO9 Black, Ben Bickers. Ben Bickers' question was, I've owned several generations of GoPros, and for the competition, is it better to focus on showing off the technical advances between generations, or is it better to focus on content? We love the conversation that this opened up, and ultimately, we're just so happy that you know, you could join us. I hope this camera gives you an opportunity to go out there and be a part of our HERO9 Black $1 Million Challenge. One thing that you could help us out with is just make sure to throw your information into the comment box. The most important thing is in your YouTube account that we have an email, so that we can actually reach out to you and get your contact, get your shipping information, because we got to get you the camera. And sometimes people's accounts don't have their email in there. So make sure you throw your email in there so we can get you the camera. All right, so the last one, we've got one more GoPro to give away, because remember I said we had 2 HERO9 Blacks, is from Guillermo Lopes. So Guillermo Lopes said, what's the best GoPro editing workflow? From the moment you plug the camera into your computer to YouTube to Instagram. I thought that conversation, the team really loved the conversation around pro workflows, mobile workflows, and to know that, like, you know, there really is no perfect workflow. It's really what works best for you. And we just want to thank you again. I know, Guillermo, you are on a lot of our live streams in the past, so thank you for taking time again to join us. Make sure you hit us up, and we'll get you this GoPro HERO9 Black. So at this point, I hope this has been an awesome opportunity for you all. If you guys continue to have questions, make sure you throw them in that comment box and we'll respond. Also, just know that we just want to thank all of our guests for taking time, you know, being here today, spending countless hours prepping the show. I want to thank Ryan and Abe from our studio team, Anthony all the way from France, Andrews from beautiful Brazil, and Tyler just down the road. So I really want to thank all of you guys. You guys have made this show by far the best show we've ever done. And you know, last but not least, to my homies on my team, both to Ron, Ing for, you know, being on the moderator and helping, you know, answer the Q&A questions, and then directing and producing is Eric Gonzalez with the help and support of our Brand Live team. So thank you to everybody. You know, a couple other shout outs, Anita from our, you know, our awards team and our community team. Thank you for helping. Just this create this whole experience. Awards is something we're so honored to get to celebrate 5 years today. And I hope all of you are as inspired to get out there and start capturing. And we're so stoked to see what you guys all submit. So in the meantime, signing off from Carlsbad. I want to say goodbye. We'll throw everybody back on to say goodbye. Just want to thank everybody. And until next time, from Carlsbad and the GoPro training team, many mahalos, and we'll see you soon. Later, guys. See ya.
Bye, everybody. Thanks so much.
Bye.